Hello guys and welcome, this is ThatSrb2DUDE here today, bringing you the first episode of my Splatoon competitive guide. In this episode we're going to be going through the Arowana Mall callouts. Yeah, I figured this would be a great start to introducing you guys into the callouts and all that type of stuff, because I'd say Arowana Mall is probably one of the easiest maps to learn callouts and pretty much that. So I'm going to just be going through all the callouts and what you should expect to see in these specific places, such as like if there's an E-liter there, a dynamo, any type of other weapon and all that type of stuff. And yeah, let's get through it. So here we go in Arowana Mall. We're just running around, and I'm not going to call out anything right now. Going to go to the first call out here. This place is probably one of the most called out places. This is known as closed. On our side it's called our close, and on their side it's their close. You got to remember that maps are symmetrical, so you should expect to see the same position on each side. This area is a nice and simple area, and it's called zone. Basically it's called zone because during splat zones this is the entire zone, so this entire area is known as zone. It's right in the middle of the map. You can say top mid, but I prefer to say zone because it's easier to remember. This area here is known as main ramp. Now there are two main ramps. There's your main ramp and the opposing team's main ramp. You usually expect to see pretty much anything at the bottom of the main ramp. Usually a dynamo or any other long range weapon. And Tentatex tend to run up here as well, so just got to be careful of them. If you're on the top of close, you can easily shoot them. So here's the positions. There's one main ramp over here and one on the other side because this map is symmetrical. Now this next area isn't normally called out because nobody really goes here unless it's tower control or rainmaker. Very rarely you'll see anybody go in here in splat zones, but if they are here, they usually go to Snipe, which is the next call out, which I'm going to talk to you about. But this is known as the plat area. If somebody is here, just call it out. But I'm going to explain to you about the Snipe area. And of course, this is known as the Snipe area, or just Snipe. You've got a pretty good visual of everything. You can got visual of your open, their closed, and their main ramp and your main ramp. And if you have I haven't actually gave a call out, a specific call out for this place, but in splat zones or rainmaker there's a place called bottom zone or bottom mid or something like that. You actually can hit people from there as well. So this area is also known as open, as I was saying before. This is where you usually see E-liters, 96 gals or jet squelchers. You pretty much got a lot of visual around pretty much everything. You can see they're open, your Snipe, you're closed, and they're closed, just like the very first part of it. You've got visual of their main ramp, the top of their main ramp, and yeah, you can pretty much shoot anything from this position. This is pretty much why E-liters go here, because they can usually back up really, really far, and nobody can really touch them. Just going to show you an example. Just me going back. If you go all the way back here, an E-liter can still shoot people from the main ramp. Just to remind you that this is your Snipe area. It's on the right side, and your open is on the left side. It's this entire area which is called open. Just remember that. It doesn't really matter what specific part of open the person is, because once someone has called out he's out open or they're open, we're basically going to look at that position and we will see the person. If you want to be specific, you can say he's the front of their open or he's at the back of their open. But yeah, that's pretty much what I would say if you want to be specific with it. Now this big area here in between Snipe and open is known as the court area. Now this could be a little bit tricky because what I do with this part is that I have 4 different locations for it. It's hard to say, if you call out their court, I mean, of course someone's going to look at court, but where in court? So I say this part is front court, this part is left court, and this part is right court. And of course, in the very back, you'd call it back court. Now, it's a little bit confusing, or it can get a little bit confusing when, because, well, the maps are symmetrical and there's there is also another court. There's a court on your side. If you're talking about your court, I would say you would have to switch around the left and right. You would keep front and back the same, but you would want to call left court your left court, or right court your right court, or something like that. It can get a little bit tricky, so later on in the video, I'm just going to give you a certain amount of callouts that you should learn first, get used to, and then come on to court, because well, no pun intended there, but the court area can be a little bit confusing to get used to. Alright, so let's move on to some callouts that don't normally get called out, mainly because no one goes here. So this is your pit or point, because tower control and rainmaker, but it's called pit because the whole area looks like a pit, so we call it that. You don't normally need to call this area out because well, there's just no point for it. You got spawn ramp. I guess you can call this out sometimes if like somebody's like hiding there or something like that. It's something I like to do. I like to hide there. This is called closed ramp. Don't need to call out that out because, well, if you're going up closed ramp, there's only two ways they can go. They can go closed, or their snipe, or their pit. But they don't usually do that. And this area is probably one of the most called out that's not called out, I would say. The area that I'm on right now, you usually would find an E-liter here, or a splatterscope, or a blaster, or a roller. You usually find them up here once it's tower control, because they usually jump up from here to, what's it called, like whack the person off the tower, or blast the person, whatever weapon you're using. Well, this doesn't really have a specific call out, but if you were to call it out, I'd call the left one top left and the other one top right, and vice versa on your side. It's pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't really need to be called out too much because, of course, nobody really goes to these areas. Some areas don't really have specific call outs, like the grates right there doesn't really have a call out. You can call it under snipe, I guess. The wall that was just on their zone wall or something like that, you can call that their closed wall, and that our closed wall. It's just little details you can basically call out, and people will still be able to understand you. So just to remind you, I want you guys to get into the correct terminology of calling out things out. You would call this their open, their snipe, their closed, and our closed. Just gotta remember to put R and there in pretty much in front of every call out, unless it's right in the middle, like the zone or something like that. Little details like that behind their tree or something like that. That's their open, and remember that's their snipe, or their mid snipe, or their mid open. It's just, you know, get things right. Get things right. If you're calling out their and ours or something like that, if you're getting used to that, it's good, because people will be able to understand you. They'll be able to know where the person is, as long as they know what the call out is, unless otherwise it'll just be you saying things and nobody would be understanding, and all that type of stuff. So alright, so this is one thing that I wanted to go through, and it's when you're calling out closed, or if somebody does call out closed. Now, you don't know specifically where the person is going to be in closed, because, well, unless the person says there's a specific call out for where in closed they actually are, you won't actually know, because usually when me and my team say there's somebody coming through closed, we just say closed, and we don't actually say what specifically the person's coming from. And I'll say that's something we need to work on. But usually, if that situation does happen, this is what I normally do. Basically, once the closed wall is inked, I usually just peek it, because I don't want to go straight up through closed and risk getting myself killed when the person, well, basically comes through the corner and just utterly destroys me. I usually just peek it, slightly hold the up button, and actually no, I think, yeah, slightly hold the up button and just jump, so nobody can really see you on the wall. But just a tip there, just when you're calling out close, just peek it before you actually go up and engage. So overall in Arowana Mall, there are a select few callouts that I feel like you should start with if you don't know any types of callouts in this map. So I would say you should start with getting used to calling out snipe, because you usually expect snipers in Arowana Mall, as well as open. You expect eliters to be popping up here every now and then. Main ramp, you can expect 10 attacks, all those like really close weapons and all that type of stuff. And your closed, zone, and they're closed. You can expect any weapon to come up through here. So yeah, I guess without further ado, you can get used to those callouts first, and then once you're used to them, you can start calling out things like their court, front court, back court, mid court, their pit, top right, and all that type of stuff. And I hope this helped you guys. So first of all, shout outs to Hitzel or Hitzelberger, because basically the majority of these are his callouts, and he's pretty much made callouts for every single map in Splatoon. So or a callout sheet, I should say. And it's really helped us out as a team, and it helps a lot in competitive Splatoon. So I hope you guys have actually enjoyed this episode of the Splatoon Competitive Guide. I'm going to be pumping out a lot more content, as well as callouts, strategies, and all that type of stuff with certain weapons. There's a bunch of different strategies you can use in this particular map with snipers, the Jet Squelcher, 96, 10 attack, pretty much everything. So overall, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. Please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe for the channel if you would like to see more. And I hope you guys enjoyed. So I shall see you guys in a future video. Don't forget to like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.